second fist fight with 31 strikes. That's not much.
No.
A lot of it is just... This is why I think this fight is perfect. Because you have, in the first fight, Stallone wins. Second fight, Snipes wins. But, like... So, actually, no one loses the second fight. Because they both run their other way. Mm-hmm. And in this one, Phoenix is landing 4-punch combos on him. He's side kicking him. He's front kicking him. He's elbowing him.
So if this was to go to decision, it's not looking good for our hero right now.
No, this is a unanimous decision. Like, this is a 10-8 round. Let's say it's 3 5-minute rounds. Like a
not good, Johnny Spart.
Yeah, Johnny Spart's getting wiped out by Simon Feeney.
Well, what's he going to do to bring it back?
So...
He's got to go for a total knockout.
Total knockout. And he does. And what I love, though, is so Stallone lands like a 4-punch combo here and there, but then Simon Phoenix just wipes him out. But what I liked is you get the rain coming down, you get another tackle by Stallone. That's all he does in this movie is tackle Simon Phoenix. 3 tackles in each fight. And so he gets a little heads up. They get separated because of the tackle. Simon Phoenix grabs a spike, and he's like, this is the greatest day of my life. And he looks cool, getting rained on.
Yeah, he's very pleased.
His different color eyes... He's just looking cool. And so he's about to stab John Spartan. I blanked on that. I was going to say Stallone. About to stab Stallone. Stallone takes this orb and smashes it. The thing that freezes, which you see earlier.
The let's call it a cryo stick.
Cryo stick that puts people into their ice cubes for a long time. So he takes a cryo stick, smashes it. Immediately, Simon Phoenix becomes an ice cube. But then,
I mean, it's a pretty cool effect.
It's
the
awesome.
way it, like, blurs blue up through his body, it's not bad. The fire at the very end of the movie is a terrible effect.
Yeah.
But this is actually kind of cool looking.
And I love how he jumps on the claw that's spinning around, because it's already been established.
Yeah, he knows that the claw can support him.
That's storytelling.
And it's not too fast for him to catch either.
Because it's so slow.
Yeah.
And so we wait 20 minutes for him to go around the room because it's so slow.
Yeah, and then he runs out of the room by running in through the cryo-frozen bars, and they just break apart at this point. Because we know they were frozen.
You love that.
I do. It's a great gag.
You were very impressed with that. A lot. Well, for writing a movie, I'm going to include that in there. But I love when he goes around and he goes heads up and he kicks Simon Phoenix's head,
who's immobile at this point and frozen.
But so the first fight takes place in fire, right? People explode and burn. This one, he's frozen, and he gets his head kicked off. I'll lose my head. Oh, remember that. Kicks his frozen head off, and it just breaks, and then you see all the blood inside that's still red, and then the fire happens and blows him up. So, I mean, it's interesting. That's a callback from the first part of the fight.
Would you call that freezer burn?
Yo. I love it. That's a good one. Freezer burn. Well, that's perfect. Yeah, I mean, he lets off a great freezer burn, kicks his head off, and then he runs out from another explosion for...
Yeah, I don't even know how he jumps out of the building, but the next time we see him, he's on the ground just walking up to the police cars, totally fine. No limp, barely any bruising. He just walks up to the thing. Yep. And I thought that was quite curious, but it is not part of the final fight, so...
And then he smooches Lenina Huxley. And he's just going to stay there and go eat a cheeseburger. And him and Dennis Leary are going to hang out.
Oh, jeez.
But I don't know. I think you watch this fight, you have the themes.
No, they're not allowed to have cheeseburgers, are they?
They're going to do it all over.
No, do not suggest that Lenina Huxley would break the law.
She broke the law. She was a good fighter. Huxley's cool in this movie. I like her. I like Bullock in this movie. You didn't like her?
Yeah, she's good. She's very, there's just a whole mood to the movie, which is very interesting. They follow these certain laws, which are not unlike the ones in Escape from... New York and LA, where you can't smoke or have sex or eat red meat, and all these rules have been imposed upon the people. And we're kind of seeing the outside world now.
And now there's Taco Bell.
It's very interesting.
There's only Taco Bell?
Yep.
What do you think about that?
I'm just not going to insult a brand on
but you're 100% right. It's a fun world. And it becomes a very lived-in, familiar world. The production designer actually worked on Blade Runner. I thought that was pretty cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then later on he worked on Soldier and The One, so I think that's pretty neat. But I mean, anybody who worked on Blade Runner has to know production design.
I would, yes, definitely.
I noticed a chase and upgrade, too, that is very similar to this one with the cars.
Okay.
Yeah, it's neat.
As long as it doesn't involve head crunching, you can show it to me later.
So, I don't know, about this fight, I love how... a line that you had to pay attention to in the beginning about losing the head, I'll remember that.
Yeah.
And then he just kicks off his head at the end.
Excellent callbacks. And, we have always loved a long-held payoff, especially in comedy, very often you and I talk about how, a joke just pays off way too quickly. They'll do it a few minutes later, or a few seconds later in the next scene, and it'll just feel cheap. But we love it when you hold it for a good, maybe a whole act through the movie and then pay it off much later. It's so much funnier that way because you get to go, oh, I remember that from the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, no, it's man, and if you can remember that, it's just it's another reason why this movie works. It's cheeky, it's different, it's fun, and a guy gets his head kicked off.
This is true. Well, there is some brilliance behind the fight choreography and stunt coordinator. I looked up a little bit about those guys. So you've got your fight choreographer, Clint Cadena, with a huge pedigree. He's done stunts for over 30 different pictures. And, stuff up there, I'll go really fast here. Chuck, NCIS LA, Blade Trinity, with Snipes. The Rundown. That's the one I thought you'd like.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
X, Spider-Man, Alias, The Matrix, Under Siege 2, Drop Zone, Universal Soldier.
Wow.
Your first one. So he's done some great stuff, the fight choreographer.
Wow. And I think the fights in this are a lot of fun, and they tell all a good story. Mm-hmm. The 3 tackles.
So those are just the ones that he's done choreography for. He's also done stunts in some other ones.
So he did the choreography for some of these movies?
For all of
and
the
Drop
ones
Zone?
I wrote down. Yeah.
That's another Snipes movie.
Exactly. I know he's worked with Snipes a bunch. Even on just some of the ones he did stunts in, he's worked with Wesley Snipes quite a few times.
Oh, that's awesome.
So even more impressive is the stunt coordinator, Charlie Pacerni. Do you guess how many
178.
No. Guess how many stunt credits he had between being a stunt driver, being a stunt man, and being a stunt coordinator?
52.
370.
Whoa!
I know, it's incredible. He's 84 years old, and he just completed stunt driving for F9.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's insane.
Oh, I love it.
So he's got some really cool credits for his stunt driving, which is Venom, Fate of the Furious, bunch of the Fast movies, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Independence Day 2, 22 Jump Street, Need for Speed, one of my favorites.
So good.
Prisoners. So a lot of stunt driving in his past, but the stuff he's coordinated for, Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
Hey!
America's Most Wanted, Universal Soldier Regeneration.
Hey, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Street Fighter, True Romance, Tales from the Crypt, and quite a few other things. He's also dabbled in producing and writing and directing some things of his own, but huge pedigree there. So you've got a great team here who is working on all these cheeky stunts, and they clearly knew what was happening.
Yeah,
on set.
The stunts were on point, the production design was on point, and it all led to a very tied together fight, which you never see.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think the script was tight, so that led to the callbacks, both in the fight and in the actual lines that were used.
Oh, I love it. That's some good... Oh, I love it. All right, so on an A to F, where would you rank this fight?
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, probably a B+.
B? Yeah, let's do it. B+. Because...
It's not the most technical fight. It's obviously meant... The action in this movie is meant to be cheesy. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. I think so. Just have fun with it, one-liners.
The whole thing, I mean, Snipes' whole character is just he says things and then sort of has a smile on his face, and he just is over the top with his lines, and it's great. It makes it very entertaining. So I wouldn't call that A+ or A action, but B+ for sure.
Yeah, The Night Comes for Us is A.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Eco and Joe Taslim. Mm-hmm. And I think you give this an A for capturing the tone.
Yeah.
But as far as a fight goes, there's not much choreography there. They just kind of get to it.
No, they're not doing a lot of technical fighting. And it's not very long as far as that. There's, props involved and whatnot.
Yeah, there's arms and ices and all that. I do like how Snipes lost because he didn't technically lose the fight. Mm-hmm. He lost because he got turned into ice.
Well, it's still a TKO.
Yeah. I mean, the record's going to say that Spartan won, but at least Snipes wasn't beaten into submission.
He held his own.
I love it.
Until he got freezer burn.
Decapitated. He'll lose his head. Freezer burn. Freezer burn.
Heads up.
Oh, man. Gosh. It's insane. All right, well, this was fun. Thank you for joining me.
Hey, I'm here anytime to talk about the best fights in the world.
Well, we've talked about Haywire.
Yeah, I know.
Night Comes for Us.
Talk about good fighting.
We've crushed some good fights. All right, well, thanks for joining me.
Anytime.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Megan Hoffmeyer, this is Final Fights. We'll see you next week.
Heads up.